So that shiny new game just came out, Ghost of Tsushima, Director's Cut, and you want to know if it's worth your time, right? Well, let's take a look at the game for some first impressions. Keep in mind this is not a full review, this is a quick look at the game. I played the game for a little over 2 hours, so I'll show some footage of the game while describing it and giving a few thoughts on it. I wasn't really planning on making a video for this game, as I tend to stick with only new games, and this one's been out for years on PlayStation, but since I was planning on buying it anyways, why not make a video? I've always known that this was a good game and people liked it, but I never looked into it as I did not want any spoilers. So now that it's on PC finally, I'm looking at it with completely fresh eyes. If you have already seen or played this game and only want to know about the performance on PC and that's it, then I'll show my in-game settings on the screen. With the settings I had, 4K, DLSS quality, and a lot of settings turned up, I was averaging 65 to 85 FPS, depending on what's happening on the screen. If there's a lot going on and fires everywhere, then with these settings it was lower 60s. Without all that going on though, it tended to stay around 75 or 80. I'm using a 3080 Ti as well. As for my RAM, it used just about 15 gigs. There was also AMD frame generation that I could have used. However, I had it turned on in the menu and I was browsing my settings and then my game crashed. So I turned that setting off and then my game didn't crash once since that time. It could be that the frame gen is just fine, but I left it off just in case. So if it's actually an issue, hopefully they fix that soon and you'll get even more FPS with that. Alright, now with that out of the way, let's talk about the game itself and some of the story. One thing that is apparent of all the Sony games I play is that all of them are very cinematic, meaning there's a lot of cutscenes in them and they're all done really well. Sony's games are almost like playable movies. They're that good and polished each time that I play one. This game is no different. The story is interesting as well. The Mongols are invading Tsushima Island and that island is in their way, so they need to get through that to go to mainland Japan. The Mongols are invading in a big fleet of ships and outnumber the samurai by a lot. You play as the nephew of the Lord of Tsushima. He's your uncle. The main Mongol bad guy, at least main bad guy for now, is Genghis Khan's grandson. Jin and his uncle faces him, but not really. They get blown up and pass out for the second time now, as Jin passed out falling off his horse earlier. And then Jin gets a few arrows in his back and passes out yet again for the third time now, and the uncle's taken captive. I mean, 3 times in a row passing out is kinda nuts. What are the odds? I found that kinda funny actually, especially since they were all back to back. When you wake up the third time after the arrows is when you can now play the game. Someone, a female named Yuna, healed you. Later on she says it's because her brother was taken captive and she wants you to save him. Combat, at least so far, is fairly simple. You have a dodge, block, parry, and then 2 different main attacks with your sword. You also unlock fighting stances later on, which improves some aspect of your fighting. I won't get into that as I only unlocked 1 fighting stance right near the end of my 2 hours. There's minor investigating, inspecting some clues here and there, and you can be sneaky as well. You can crouch and sneak up on enemies to kill them and use listening to know their positions. I did not really sneak around though. I much preferred charging in like the samurai that I am, with honor. You do also get a bow later on, which is useful to take out other archers. This game has a lot of cutscenes like I said, but some of them are also past memories, where you'll play as Jin's younger self. It's interesting to see how he grew up to where he is now. So Jin's plan is to attack the Mongol leader and get his uncle back. He tells Yuna he'll save her brother after that. First though, you get to choose a horse. There's only a few options though. Then once chosen, you can name your horse. Again, only a few options for the name. You can get off and on your horse whenever you want, and you can whistle to call it back. When approaching an enemy territory, you can do a standoff. Basically, it's a 1v1, but you can kill them in 1 strike if you do it correctly. It's very easy, so you should be able to nail it pretty much every single time, at least on the medium difficulty that I played on. On the bottom left of the screen is your health, and the yellow circles are your resolve. That goes up from parrying, killing enemies, stuff like that. That is also what is used when you heal yourself, so as long as you have resolve, you can heal yourself. When you do face the Mongol leader, he's OP. You're meant to lose. He defeats you and you fall off the bridge right into the water, still alive. I'll not spoil any of the missions in case you're like me and haven't played this game yet, so I'll just show some gameplay and skip going over the missions in detail. There's a map, and on that map are the main objectives as well as any side quests that you can find. You can track anything on the map and then you can use the guiding wind to bring you to it. You just follow the wind. The gear tab lets you customize your weapons, outfit, and horse, assuming you have any customizations unlocked. Also, it shows whether or not you have enough supplies to upgrade your gear. Then there's a charm slot which upgrades you in some way. One charm I had let me restore a minor amount of health for killing enemies. More charms can be found on the map too. Your armor also has stats. The hero armor I was using upgraded my health and reduced enemy damage. Then you have techniques which you can unlock with technique points. These unlock better fighting abilities abilities, better exploration, and new weapons. You can't upgrade your things on your own, you have to go to the correct people to do that, assuming you have the supplies for the upgrade. I found a couple little side things to do as well, which permanently upgraded my health or resolve that I had, like cutting bamboo with my sword. So if you find those missions, it's probably best to do those. This game is honestly great, and I'm glad that I came into it fresh with no past knowledge of it. The visuals on PC look fantastic, and the performance was solid too. I didn't have any freezing or stuttering, it was smooth the whole time. The graphics really do look good though. It's the type of game where you can just look around and appreciate how it looks. On top of that, it has a great story to follow along with as well. I plan on doing all of the main and side missions in this game. I don't do that for every game, but this one is just that type of game to do that for. One last thing, there's also another game mode called Legends mode. It's an online co-op, and it's a bit different than the campaign. I only played the campaign though, so I can't comment on that. Anyways, stop watching this video and go buy the game already. This is a great game. Though that's my personal opinion. Whether or not this is your type of game, I'll see you on the next one.